You know, starting to regret making a thumbnail with me being so happy in this game. I was just like, oh, I remember Crash. Other than a handful of segments, this game is fun. Let's make this happy, but this game. Alright, so Crash Bandicoot. I may not have started with the orange marsupial's first outing, and I don't know if little 5-year-old me could have handled this game because it's unforgiving at times. And for the sake of this review, I am focusing purely on the UnChained trilogy version. If I had to do both for this review, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff I want to do for this year. I'll address the game at the end, but let's go ahead and get the history out of the way. Naughty Dog, formerly Jam Software, developed Crash Bandicoot, a linear platformer in 1996 with the publishing company Universal Studios. Now doesn't that sound familiar? Under the project Sonic Ass Game, which to each their own, I'm not here to kink shame, but it just means that they developed a platform game like Sonic, but in 3D with linear hallways following behind Crash's backside, or his ass. The game was received well by fans and critics and helped segment Naughty Dog as a mainstay with its next few series to come. Now with the UnChained trilogy, the series has been referred to as the Dark Soul of platformers, which, can I say, it's idiotic to say anything is the Dark Souls of anything, but let's move past that and let's go UnChained with Crash Bandicoot. So story-wise, it's pretty straightforward. Dr. Neo Cortex and his assistant, Dr. Nitrous Brio, develop an Evolvo Ray to make animal soldiers for world domination, I presume. Dr. Cortex uses an untested experiment to make our title character to make him the commander of his army. But something goes wrong with Crash and he's able to escape out the window. We are then showed Tawna, which makes her more competent than she was before in the original release. In fact, in regards to Tawna, according to Naughty Dog, Tawna's design was based off of celebrity Pamela Anderson for her blonde hair and breast size. She was also based on Jessica Rabbit. After Crash Bandicoot, Naughty Dog removed her from the series as Universal Interactive wanted her to be redesigned as they felt she wasn't appropriate for a child-friendly game. Sony also wished for her removal, according to character design Charles Zambalias, which led to the introduction to Coco Bandicoot as the female lead for future titles. Tawna was given a slightly less sexual redesign for the UnChained trilogy, which was developed by Vicarious Visions. Sorry, tangent, but I needed something to fill the story segment. Since you go through all the levels with no story progression, then you beat Cortex at the end, save Tawna, or if you get all the gems in the level right before him, you pass him entirely, save Tawna, and never fight the final boss for the 100% ending. Which is interesting, the do everything ending comes at the cost of you not fighting the ultimate bad. For the story, that's about it. You go through the islands, beat the bosses, if you can call them that, then storm Cortex's castle, defeat him, or not, then roll credits. Which, yeah, just like some old school platformers, there isn't really a whole lot of story-wise, which is never an issue. It's nice if it is there, but as long as the game is fun, that's what matters. Well, let's talk about this one. Okay, good. Let's get to the good. I do have some positive to talk about with this game. So for one, with the UnChained trilogy, the game looks great. Hopping 3 generations, and Vicarious Visions did a great job for this when it came to the game. Toys for Bob did a great job on porting it to other platformers, and we will see Toys for Bob handle the most recent series in the entries, but I'm jumping ahead. So what's interesting was, while you had your boy Mario jumping and wahooing through the 3rd dimension, Crash took a more linear approach with moving along some 3D, but still restricted to forward progression. You aren't moving around an open plane of levels, but hallways. There are some instances where you are moving around forward and backwards, but they're awkwardly done and you're fighting the in-game camera. So with Crash, you can jump and spin your way to avoid enemies and to get through obstacles and platforms, with the D-pad or analog stick affecting your movement. Simple enough. So you notice a couple of crates and see that they have these things called Wampa fruits. Like the coins in Mario, collect 100 and get a free guy, or an extra life. Sometimes the boxes will have your face on them for an extra life, or an Aku Aku mask, which can give you an extra hit, which can stack up until you get 3, which then Aku Aku makes you invincible, and play some sick bongos as you dumpster everything in your path that isn't a pit or a hazard, because normally without Aku Aku, Crash is pretty squish. One hit and he's dead, which he had some pretty gruesome death animations that we will see more and more brutal and... yeah, thanks Sony for the meme that I'm sure is still going strong in 2021. Only other thing in these crates are other character faces that unlock bonus levels that add to your total. You make it to the end of the level and, oh, I missed some boxes. Huh. Alright, so you want a gem? That means you have to carefully comb through every level, break all the boxes, make it to the end, rewarded with the gem. Cool, easy enough. All I had to do is pay attention to my surroundings and sometimes just think about where they may hide some of the boxes and wait, I missed a bunch? but I got almost all the available paths except for that weird platform I couldn't do anything with. Oh, okay. So that's where some of these color gems come into play. Alright, replaying a level, no big deal, I'll just come back later. So, make it to the end of the level, got all the boxes, and nearly perfect, but I died? Okay, fine, make it to the end, don't die, and get a color gem. Okay, these open up optional pathways. Alright, no problem. Yeah, okay, problem. So any classic Crash fan will tell you this. The original Crash is brutal. PAL difference or otherwise, the game is pretty sadistic since the original didn't have any save point. Well, sorta. The only way you were saving your game was doing the bonus levels, otherwise you would have to use cheat codes for people that didn't have a memory card. Otherwise, make it to the end, so what was originally a reward was mandatory for you saving your game if you didn't want to use the password. So yeah, now we have proper saves and whatnot, but here's another problem, and it comes with the fact that this game was made like a more recent platformer. Let me explain. So here we have the two models of Crash. You have the janky little boy on the left and the polished, cleaned up boy on the right. So, you go to make the jump with old school Crash. No problem, make the exact same jump as the new Crash, and he slips, falls, and... Now, what went wrong? Hit detection. This janky little boy is actually pretty thick in the code. He is this box, so that way precision jumps can be made and give him some tippy toes to hang off to make jumps. But nah, 2017 Crash is gonna make that jump and then he slides off and falls because he has a more defined hitbox that wasn't designed for these levels. So you can make the jumps no problem, but the problem is that sometimes you clearly made it, but that smooth boy slides off the platform like butter ending up with a... So that's one big issue with the game, but a personal problem I have with this game is something called the Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment, or DDA. So, you're trying to get through a level and keep messing up on one part, and you have plenty of lives to spare, but a certain enemy might be pushing you away, making you walk right, you stupid or you can make a certain jump, and oh, what's this? Aku, you cheeky little mask, where did you come from? I didn't break a box. What's that? You want to help me by giving me an extra hip? That's great, except I didn't ask for your help! What's that? Oh, that box wasn't a checkpoint before, but now it is. Well, isn't that nice? Wall? Where are you going? No. Come back here, I'm not done slamming my head against you! Damn it, Crash, let me smash my head against that wall until it breaks! Don't give me protection or move it closer, my head is hard enough to break through the damn thing! The game takes away the sense of accomplishment, which, yeah, Naughty Dog designed with the second and third, and the dev team brought it into the game along with some other neat features, but I feel cheated if the game decides to treat me like a child, because it doesn't want me to get angry and stop playing it. But now, I'm upset because I felt like it wasn't earned. I gathered the lives so I could keep trying, not because I need help. This wasn't an issue in the original game.
What's that? Did I hear someone who wants to play the original PS1 game?
No. At least the remake did some quality of life adjustments to make the first game more playable, but I'm so glad my 5-year-old self wasn't subjected to this original hellscape. The DDA is an issue that I have with any game that does that. I wish it was an optional feature that you could turn on or off, but whatever, I digress. Okay, so what else is going in this remake? Well, Coco makes a playable appearance throughout all the levels except boss fights, which is a pretty neat feature. It's just a palette swap, but otherwise, it's a nice touch. They also had the time relics introduced in the second game into the first one, and these levels were not meant to be sped-run, especially something like Slippery Climb or Sunset Vista. These levels are marathon levels, but just like with Ape Escape and other games with this, I never felt the need to speedrun a level. It just felt unneeded for me. I mean, it's cool if you do them, the speedrunning community is a thing, but I couldn't see myself doing that, especially for this kind of game. So, Crash Bandicoot 1. What's to say? This should not be your introduction to the series. If you're interested, pick up the Insane Trilogy. It's usually on sale, but start with the second game. It's more polished and is a better jumping in point. You're not missing out on story or anything if you're interested. Go ahead, give the first game a try. But do yourself a favor. Don't pick up the original version unless you are that morbidly curious. Just be ready for the hell that awaits you. Alright. Next up on the lineup is a guy that I've been dying to get to on this channel ever since I did the Extra Life event, which, yeah, I actually plan on doing again this year, which I may have some interesting things planned for that, But anyways, the next game is a little game called Tomba, and hey, you made it to the end, so maybe you liked the video, or if not, tell me in the comment section below, and go ahead and make sure you tap that subscribe button and smack that bell to know when the next video will be out. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again real soon.